A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a dramatic turn of events at the COP30 climate summit held in Belém, Brazil, dozens of indigenous protesters stormed the venue on Tuesday, clashing with security personnel in a bid to highlight pressing issues surrounding climate action and the protection of their ancestral lands. The protesters, adorned in traditional indigenous attire and brandishing flags with powerful slogans such as "Our land is not for sale," sought to draw attention to the ongoing threats of deforestation and mining in the Amazon rainforest, a vital ecosystem that plays a crucial role in the global climate balance. The confrontation began as the demonstrators attempted to breach security barriers at the entrance of the summit, where delegates from nearly 200 countries were gathered to discuss strategies for combating climate change. Tensions escalated as security forces struggled to manage the influx of protesters, leading to a brief period of chaos. However, calm was restored shortly thereafter, and the protesters dispersed without further incident. This incident underscores the urgent call from indigenous communities for stronger governmental action to protect their lands and the environment. Many indigenous leaders have long argued that their rights must be recognized in climate discussions, as they are often the first to be affected by environmental degradation. The demonstration at COP30 is part of a larger movement advocating for indigenous rights and environmental justice. The Amazon rainforest, often referred to as the lungs of the planet, has been increasingly threatened by illegal logging, mining, and agriculture, contributing to a significant rise in greenhouse gas emissions. As the world grapples with the effects of climate change, indigenous groups are demanding that their voices be included in the decision-making processes that impact their lands and livelihoods. "We are the guardians of the forest, and we will not stand by while our homes are destroyed," one protester declared. The protests at COP30 come at a critical time as nations are under pressure to fulfill their commitments to the Paris Agreement and take meaningful action to combat climate change. The summit is expected to address various topics, including deforestation, carbon emissions, and sustainable development, but activists argue that without the involvement of indigenous peoples, these discussions will lack the necessary depth and understanding of local impacts. The clash at COP30 is not an isolated incident. Similar protests have erupted at previous climate summits, highlighting the ongoing struggle for indigenous rights in the face of climate change. As the impacts of global warming become more pronounced, the need for inclusive dialogue that respects the rights of indigenous peoples is becoming increasingly clear. In addition to the protests in Brazil, the world is currently witnessing the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Melissa, which has wreaked havoc in Jamaica. With winds reaching up to 185 miles per hour, the hurricane has left large parts of the island without power and caused extensive damage to infrastructure. Authorities are scrambling to assess the impact and provide aid to affected communities. As these events unfold, it is evident that the fight for climate justice is intertwined with the rights of indigenous peoples. The actions taken at COP30 will be crucial not only for the future of the Amazon, but for the global community's approach to climate change and environmental stewardship. The voices of indigenous protesters at this summit serve as a reminder of the critical role they play in protecting our planet for future generations. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.